Food. This is what not to do when you're in long-term care. So I'm Michelle Mata. I'm a long-term care ombudsman, and I serve as an advocate along with Alicia here at Voices for people who live in long-term care homes in Evansville, Indiana. So as an ombudsman, we advocate for them. And one of our top complaints, at least top 10, has to do with food. So this is a picture of an actual plate of food that I saw when I just popped into a long-term care home just to see how things were going. Well, obviously they weren't going very well, because this is a plate with chopped canned tomatoes with white shredded cheese, and you can see the juice is running along the plate, and the dry bread of the sandwich is soaking up the tomato juice. The sandwich has a thin piece of meat on it, and this is what the residents were being served as their dinner that evening. Completely unacceptable. So the regulations require that residents should receive palatable, attractive, and nutritious food. So that was not attractive. I doubt that it was palatable, and it wasn't really nutritious either. So the other thing is that, when we look at food is so incredibly important to us. If we have a wonderful, delicious meal, it can change our mood that whole day, and we can just be in a great mood. And vice versa. If we have a really poor meal, then it could put us in a bad mood. And especially when you're looking at people who are looking in long-term care, food is even more important. They look forward from one meal to the next. So when they get cold coffee or they get ice cream that's melted, ice cream soup, that is not acceptable. One of the things that we do here at Voices is we can advocate for the residents when they have problems and concerns. And this is, again, one of our top 10 problems that we hear from residents. So, we love it whenever we can go and we can get the facility to provide the meals that they should be providing. So another thing that residents pertaining to meals have a right to is they have a right to choice. Choice is so important for us, and especially for the long-term care folks. So whatever meal is being served, there should be an alternate that's offered. So there may be beef stew offered for dinner, and I'm not a fan of beef stew, but I can get the alternate, which may be a hamburger. So I would have a choice of that. If neither one of those sound good to me, then there should be sort of like, a bistro menu, something that the kitchen has all the time. It could be a bowl of cereal, it could be some soup, a yogurt, a grilled cheese sandwich, something like that, so that I can at least get some food. Because when people, if I'm diabetic, I have to have my nutrition. And if people don't get good nutrition, they're more susceptible to health issues and definitely to skin breakdowns that can lead to pressure sores. So there's a lot of reasons that people eating good, nutritious food is important, not just to satisfy their hunger at the time, but also to help them physically and health-wise. So another thing that residents have a right to do is to refuse their diet. And so that's kind of always a tricky one, because if I'm having trouble swallowing and some of my food is going down into my lungs, my doctor may order for me to have my food pureed or ground up. And that's not the most appetizing looking stuff in the world. So, if I make my own decisions, I know the consequences of not following that diet, I've been educated, and I refuse it, I have a right to do that. So, and no one should be telling me that I can't. So kind of with that is that, when it comes to choice and it comes to refusing diets, it's up to the resident. If the resident has the capacity to make that decision, it's up to them. So families don't always like that. And, we've had families before that are trying to say, no, mom cannot have anything that has any sugar in it. And to me, if mom wants something with sugar, even if she doesn't have the capacity to make that decision, what are you going to do? Are you going to say, the staff going to say, no, mom, Say Michelle. Say, no, Michelle, you can't have that donut. Everyone else is having a donut, but you can't have one. I mean, that's just cruel. So, especially when it comes to donuts. So anyway, it's up to the residents to make that decision. And so that's where, we appreciate if families are having this dilemma, residents are having this dilemma. Sometimes the facilities are caught in the middle. And so that we can look at the situation, the individual situation, and see if there isn't some way to either meet in the middle or to educate the parties involved as to what should happen based on the rights of that resident. So, another thing, if residents need help in eating, they should have assistance in eating. Some folks they don't need any help at all. Other folks, they need someone to set up their tray. So open their milk or pour their milk or cut up their food or, put butter on their bread. And staff should be doing that. If someone actually needs help in eating, staff should be doing that. So that does not always happen, unfortunately. So none of this, dropping off a tray to Michelle's room, because I prefer to eat in my room, which would be my right, and leaving it sit there and the over the bed tray is 2 feet away from me and I'm hungry and I can't feed myself and I can't get it and that food is just sitting there and no one's helping me. So that shouldn't be happening either. So, another thing is that, think of a food that you just really, really do not like. It turns your stomach, okay? And so think if somebody comes and puts a tray down in front of you and it's got that food on it. Let's just say for this that it's sauerkraut, because sauerkraut's got a funny smell. I love sauerkraut, but excuse me. But so they come and they bring this down and they put it in front of you, and you've told them before that you don't like sauerkraut. You know that it's on your list of your card that has your dislikes. The dietary manager knows you don't like sauerkraut and they bring sauerkraut. Well, if I were you, I would probably not feel like eating anything that was on that tray, or anything at all for that meal. So, and not just to mention, it's really, really disrespectful. So, you've told them you don't like it. Everyone has been notified. They're on notice, and you still get this yucky food. So that's where I think, people can call us, the Ombudsman, or go directly to the dietary manager and have a conversation with the dietary manager. If the dietary manager is not receptive, then go to the administrator. And again, at any point in time, people can call us and talk to us about the situation. We're happy to advise someone as to what they can do, how to get it resolved, or we can actively, with their permission, get involved and advocate for what they want. So, a couple other things that I think a lot of people don't think about is that some people their need for food is greater than just what is served. So a doctor can order 1.5 portions or 2 portions, or say 2 portions of meat, and for the residents, and then that's what they should be getting. But for some folks, some of us who've been raised with the Clean Plate Club, it's really hard to leave food on the plate and not eat it. And so the reverse is true too, is that doctors can order smaller portions for that resident, because a lot of folks, they get really distraught when they can't eat everything that is on their tray, and there's no reason that they should be put through that. So that can be an easy fix. So anyway, just keep in mind that the regulations say that residents have a right to palatable, attractive, nutritious foods. They should have a choice of their foods, and food should be delivered timely, and they should be at the proper temperature. And as I mentioned also, is that if residents want to eat in their rooms or their dining room, that should be their choice. That really doesn't always happen, because it's easier to have all the people that need help in eating sitting in the dining room. But if that's not where they want to be, they should be fed in their room. So if you know anyone or you are having problems with anything pertaining to food in long-term care, please give us a call here at Voices, and we can, if you're in our area, we are happy to help you. If you're not in our area, then we can refer you to the Ombudsman that covers your area. And we are at 812-423-2927. Thanks, and I hope you have a great food day.